All right, welcome statistics students. Today we're going to do an example that talks about confidence intervals. Um, Again, part of the issue when you're taking the test is they're not going to tell you what's going on in the problem. You're going to have to figure it out from the words. So let's start with this problem. In the year 2001, Youth Risk Behavior Survey done by the U.S. Centers of Disease Control, 747 out of 1,168 female 12th graders said that they always use a seatbelt when driving. So they'd like us to construct a 95% confidence interval for the proportion of 12th grade females in the population who always use a seatbelt. So first of all, keyword, proportion. That tells me the first thing I need to do is find a proportion. So let's talk about what's going on. So that is going to be our p-hat. So our p-hat in this case is going to be the proportion of 12th grade females that say they always use their seatbelt, and that is 747 out of 1,168. All right, that gives us 0.640, so about 64% always say they use their seatbelt. All right, so if we know p-hat, we will also need to find q-hat. Remember that q-hat is just 1 minus whatever that p-hat value is. So in this case, my q-hat will be 1 minus 0.460, which will give me a q-hat value of about, 0.360. All right, so there's the two values we need to know. We know that our n in this case was 1,168. That's how many students they talked to. And in this case, they want a 95% confidence interval, so a 95% CI. First of all, we have to figure out which test are we going to use. In this case, looking at the sample size and it's a proportion, using those two things together, we know that this is going to be a Z. Again, confidence interval is for both sides, so my Z value for my confidence interval for 95%, so my alpha is going to be 0.05. Divide that by 2. We are going to look that up on our chart. Again, this is one of the ones that you should have memorized. If you do not, that's okay, but you can always look it up. So it's 1.960. Okay, so that's all the important stuff we need for this proportion. So then I'm going to go to my statistics handy dandy cheat sheet, and I'm going to copy down the exact formula that I need. So here is my formula for my confidence interval for proportion. So it's p-hat minus z of alpha over 2 times the square root of p-hat q-hat over n. That is the low end of my actual p percentage, not my approximate. The high end is going to be p-hat plus that same information. All right, so there is my formula. At this point now all I have to do is just plug it in, do a little bit of math, and that will tell me my confidence interval. All right, so I know my p-hat is 0.640 minus, again, filling in all the information that I know. All right, and so for our sake, I'll just kind of do dot, dot, dot here, so you know that this information here will be exactly the same information as this right here. All right, so I have that all filled in. All right, now I just have to get out my calculator. Oh, and my n value I know is 1,168, so that can get filled in again. And this information will be the same on this because that is the error on either side, positive or minus. So subtracting it on the low end, adding it on the high end. All right, so if I do a little bit of math on both sides, I will find that this amount here, I'm going to put that in my calculator first, and that will give me approximately 0.028. So my confidence interval is going to be 0.64 minus 0.028 on the low end, and it's going to be 0.64 plus 0.028 on this end. So putting that together, I get 0.612 on this end and a 0.668 on the high end. So that means that my actual percentage of 12th grade females that say they always use their seatbelt, I am 95% confident that that actual amount is somewhere between 61.2% and 66.8% given that data. All right, so hopefully that kind of helps you out to see an example done all the way through. If you need any more help, please let me know. Thank you so much. Have a good night.